All right. No cat. Safe to film. Hey. I think I'm going to do 2 videos in one sitting. So first, just responding to yesterday's video about how everybody needs to understand X from my perspective or at my level in order to fix the world. So we're going to talk about needs to. And in order to read Dryland Fish's comment, I need to put on glasses. Dryland Fish writes, oh, sorry, it's Dan Tucker. Dan writes, need to, adding words to an imperative. When did that become a linguistic thing? Has it been around for a long time? Understand X. Perfectly good sentence. Then overthink it and add you need to make it easier to swallow an order? I don't know. You used it perfectly in the title because it sets up that annoying vibe you got to in the video. Everyone needs to stop using need to. All right. So, first about these things. I need to put them on in order to read something off my phone. Yesterday I mentioned that when I'm wearing my normal glasses, which are bifocals, just by moving my head or glancing, I can move from being focused on a screen or a page, which is to say being in an abstract world, to, interacting with the real world or my physical environments, and have them be in clear focus. I've discovered that I'm doing something rather disturbing. I'll put the glasses on to read and interact with the abstract world, but since I'm mostly moving around my house, which is a familiar environment, I'll just walk around with the reading glasses on and everything's blurry. But who cares? I mean, I can walk around that place in the dark. I don't really need to see where I'm going. Which is disturbing because only the abstract world is in focus for me when I'm doing that. So, take them off, put them on, take them off, put them on again. That's just how it's going to be. Oh, and I've just taken them off, but if I want to read anything else, well, actually, I think I can remember Dan's point. Need to. So I tried to look up the origin of the phrase need to, and a casual inspection of, dictionaries and Wikipedia and Wiktionary and that sort of thing didn't turn much up. But what I noticed is that when you go to Miriam Webster and you look at the definition for the word need, there are multiple definitions listed, but the primary definition is of obligation, is of duty. You need to respect God. You need to accept Jesus Christ into your heart, not for your benefit, not to save you from hell, but because you have a moral obligation to do so. It is the right thing. These are examples. I'm not preaching. I'm not proselytizing religion. I am culturally Christian. I am functionally agnostic. A former atheist. But what's interesting, Dan's saying, understand X. That's an imperative. You don't need to put anything else on it in order to make that an order. But if you make it a conditional statement, if you want to achieve something, A, if you want to achieve A, then you need to adopt viewpoint X. In that conditional statement, need to is not superfluous. And that's typically how I use need to. But I'm fascinated by this idea that our primary association with need these days is a lack in ourselves. We need something. We are lacking in something, and the world has it, and the world can give it to us. That's our primary notion of need. Whereas in the past, at a time when I think society was more religiously oriented, the primary association with need was what we needed to do to satisfy our obligations to God and to the community. And, that to me, I don't want to put a moral spin on it, that collectivist thought and thinking about what we need to do in order to satisfy our duties to the world is morally superior to thinking about ourselves and thinking about what we require from the world in order to be fulfilled. But when I put it in those terms, it's pretty hard not to put a moral spin on it, or, to even say with a straight face and in good faith that I don't have any moral dimensions in mind when I state things that way. It just seems we are self-centered, and we are thinking a lot more about our personal needs as individuals than we are thinking about the needs of our, our communities or our planet. Now, when it comes to talking about the needs of the planet, I think primarily people do this in order to satisfy their personal needs for social gratification, for social signaling, for demonstrating to others, for feeling good about themselves, for having demonstrated the correct virtues in public, about the environment. Why is the environment in quotes? Well, environment for what? For us. Anyway. Now, another thing I can do is have the glasses hanging off the end of my nose, and I can tilt my head back to read. Now, Dryland Fish writes, the first rule of the Epistemological Humility Club is there is no talking about Epistemological Humility Club. Good luck with the new gig. So the new gig being Snowmaker. And that was a very short comment. Thank you for the good luck wishes, and now I need to put the glasses back on. Sota says, everybody needs to understand that giving me money is a great idea. Well, you know what, Sota? They do understand that, but you want them to transform that word or that pronoun, me, into you when they think it. Or even better, a proper noun, Sota. Everybody needs to realize that giving Sota money is a good idea. Almost nobody who isn't Sota realizes that. Everybody, though, pretty much realizes that giving me money is a good idea. And then Melkor Tolkien posted, I thought this was going to be about needing to understand Generation X. Lol. So, I am Gen X. I'm early Gen X. I think Gen X starts in 65. I was born in 68. But I'm definitely, that's my identified generation. Mostly because, the closest generation to that, the boomers, nobody wants to be a boomer. And I'm not going to read my response, but I responded saying, nobody really needs to understand Generation X because we're just here doing our thing. Pretty reliable. We've been doing it for a while, but we're not close to retirement, so we're going to keep doing it. But yeah, nobody worries about Generation X, and really nobody needs to. I mean, some of us are as prosperous as boomers, others as broke as millennials. But for the most part, we're all right. We're the raised by wolves generation. We don't require a lot of tending. Understanding, though, is nice. It's nice to be understood. I really need to get out here early in the morning if I'm going to record without a lot of traffic. Anyway, I think that's it. Well, no, one more thing. Generation X needs to. It's nice to be understood. But if we're thinking about needs to in terms of our obligations to the world, it is more important to understand than to be understood. That is all. Catch you in the next one.